Okay, students, welcome you all in my second phase of class in the Indian Economy elective department of Nalanda University Economics Department. So today's topic is privatization, as there are total 10 chapters in the syllabus prescribed for the second semester. So I have already told about around 7 topics in my first trip. Now I will start the remaining topics, 3 topics: privatization, then globalization, and the 12th 5-year plan, which was the last 5-year plan during the period of 2012 to 2017. So as I told that today Government of India is releasing its economic survey for the year 2025-26, and at 11 it is being tabled in the parliament. So tomorrow we will have class on economic survey, which is very important to know for the all students of economics, because economic survey it just depicts the whole picture of Indian economy, all kind of development, achievement, and all kind of repercussions, obstacle which has held in the course of economic development, that is being prescribed in that document, economic survey. So tomorrow I will have class. I will just display the text on the computer screen and explain all the things which has been mentioned in the economic survey. And for that, all students of economic department have to be present here in this classroom. So talking about the privatization has become a buzzword in the nowadays economics discussion. And we all know we have two sectors, government sector or the public sector, and the private sector or the corporate sector. So when in 1991 new economic policy was started, we started to talk about privatization, because earlier, before 1991, earlier we have a more impact of those economic ideologies which were dealing through the communism idea and the socialism idea, or the even under the mixed economy. We never talked much about private sector. We rather talked about government sector, and we will keep nationalizing the various activity of Indian economy, like banks, like insurance, like mines, like so many things. But since 1980, even before the Janata plan came, they gave emphasis on the small scale industry. The small scale industry is not run by government, rather it is run by private sector. So in that plan, we talked about the internal liberalization of industry, and for that matter, private sector or privatization move started to be talked about. And since 1980, we lifted many of restrictions over which were imposed over private sector in terms of their licensing, in terms of their approval, in terms of their sanction, like that. So we just liberalized the atmosphere, and after that, some privatization were started to be talked in the public domain of Indian economy. But when 1991 came, so as I have told earlier, that it was based on 4 pillars, that was called privatization, globalization, liberalization, and marketization. These all are interrelated words. And privatization means what? Private sector was already there. Privatization of public sector. Privatization of the public sector undertakings. And for that, various methods were applied in order to privatize the public sector and public sector undertaking. As I have already taught classes regarding public enterprise, so I have told that there are 4-5 categories of public sector: departmental enterprise, industrial enterprise, corporation, company, society, trust, and all that. So today, what I would like to say that since 1991 we started to talk about privatization, though it was vehemently opposed by several political players and political parties. They told that the private sector will come and they exploit the consumer. they will have a more tendency towards profiteering, and they earn surplus, they depend on unsurplus earning of profit, and for that matter the public interest gets demolished, and we have a more business Raj and industrialist Raj. Earlier we were talking about Tatas and Birlas, they were dominating the whole scenario. But nowadays, as we are talking about Ambani and Adani, during those days people were talking about Tatas and Birlas, Singhanias, Dalmias, and etc. etc. So since 1991, we thought that all investment and assets which have been employed in the public sector, they do not have a very enough return. They do not have enough profitability. That's why they must have more earning on the asset or on the public investment. That is the public money that must have a more return. We cannot continue any public sector undertaking just to continue some jobs of few people, and they were crying more for not privatizing the any public sector undertaking. Their trade union, their labor union, they shouted very vehemently against any kind of privatization move because their interest was geopolitized by that move. But for the sake of country, for the sake of majority of people, we thought we must have a more better investment, more return, and more valuable utilization of the government money and the public or government resources. So for that matter, we started to plan to privatize various public sector undertaking, and in that matter, we started प्राइवेटाइजिंग द पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग. तो इसमें मैंने जैसे पहले बताया था कि देयर वर 3-4 टूल दैट वाज कॉल्ड इनिशियल पब्लिक ऑफर, OFS, ऑफर टू सेल, एंड थर्ड वाज द स्ट्रेटेजिक सेल, मींस की प्राइवेटाइजेशन. तो इसके लिए क्या हुआ कि हमने कई बार 26% स्टेक, जैसे मैंने बताया कि 51% जब स्टेक होगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा किसी कंपनी में, then that organization would be called proprietor or owner. But when sale gets reduced, then it will have no more proprietorship or ownership over any venture. तो IPOs के जरिए जो है ना माइनॉरिटी सेल किया जाता है, माने 1%, आधा परसेंट, अब उसको लाखों शेयर में बांट दिया जाता है किसी कंपनी को. अगर मान लीजिए कि अगर कोई भारत पेट्रोलियम है, उसके 1 लाख शेयर, अगर उसका कम से कम 20,000 शेयर या 25,000 शेयर अगर पब्लिक में जारी किया जाता है, तो पब्लिक तो कोई 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, लाख, 10 लाख, 20 लाख का शेयर खरीदती है. तो 25% अगर सेल होगा, दैट वुड बी